Hey parents, I wanted to do a quick tutorial, 15-minute tutorial of kind of the most important parts of our parent night that I feel are really important that you understand as a parent going into the 6th grade year with your student. The biggest thing that I wanted to give you a heads up about is our class website, which will be super beneficial to you. Here we have announcements that we can pop in when we have reminders or whatnot. Up here are quick links for students that are things we get into on a daily or weekly basis. Ascend Math is kind of our new, if you remember your kids getting into Alex last year, our district is now doing Ascend Math. And this is a program where it is personalized to the student. So if your student is a little below our 6th grade level, then they can be working on stuff. If your student needs to be challenged, then this is a place where they can be challenged. Power School is where we go to look at grades. Think Central is where we would take math tests. So if your students are absent on the day of the test, they can actually do it at home and not be behind, not have to make that up. Google Classroom, I'll show you in a minute, is where we do a lot of our language arts assignments. And then our current math chapter is where I'd like to go to show you kind of the bulk of where I think this website will be most beneficial. You can click on it here, and I'll keep that updated with our current math. Or you can go to the math tab, and these are all the chapters that we are going to do this year. So we're doing whole numbers and decimals. What I've tried to do is I've tried to list every single topic that we've talked about so far in math, and I've tried to include practice and games for each topic. So the reason I have practice and games is for students who come home and say, I don't understand how to do this, or parents who say, I like to help my student, but I don't understand how to do it. These are tutorials, they're math models that you can watch to understand, or for your student to watch to maybe get a different take on it. Maybe I didn't teach it very well, or Mrs. Green that comes in and helps me during math didn't teach it very well. These are the places you can go. There are some times where I have actually posted videos to help with math homework. So when there is a Mrs. Madsen's homework help, that's me actually going through the homework assignment and doing part or all of the homework assignment, talking you through it all. So that is what I think is going to be a huge benefit for you as your students come home and say, I don't know what's going on. This is where you want to go. This is where, if you want them doing something productive on the computer, these are games that go right along with what we're learning in math. So I see that as being a huge benefit to you as parents and as students. The kids know how to get onto this. Every now and then we have time, I tell them to pop on the computer and play one of the games that we've been talking about. The other thing that I want you to be aware of is that I have every single homework assignment uploaded. So if your student forgets to bring home their homework, it is all here. They can print it off at home, or they can at least look at it and do the assignments on the screen. Also, I have the answers posted for each of these homework assignments. It is down here as well, Chapter 1 answers. And my take as a teacher is I have these answers posted in my room. My students can look at these answers anytime throughout the math lesson. And my goal for this is that students know immediately how well they are doing. So they don't go home, or they don't work on their assignment for 20 minutes in class and find out the very next day that their homework is all done incorrectly, that they didn't know how to do it. So I encourage them to do 3 or 4 assignments, or 3 or 4 questions, and then go back and look and check it on the answer keys to make sure that they're doing it correctly. So it's here posted online as well, so when they get home they can also see it. So by the time that they come to school the next day, I fully expect their homework to be at 100% because they have the answers here. And we've talked about how you don't just say, oh, I didn't get 10, so I'm going to erase my answer and I'm going to put number 10. But instead you say, okay, the answer is 10. What did I do incorrectly? So I've taught them to check over their work again, see if they can find their mistake, or erase it and start all over if they can't find their mistake. So I've taught them to use it more as a tool than as a just, okay, here's my assignment, I've got it done, because that does not teach them a thing. And my whole goal with these 6th graders is to help them be responsible students to the point where you don't have to nag them about turning something in or studying for tests or getting their grades up, that is all on them because they fully can look at their own grades. They know how to do all that, and they should be responsible enough to take care of themselves at this point in time in 6th grade. So that's my whole goal. That's one of the things that I'm really trying to focus on with these guys. So those are the answer keys. I also expect them, if they do all the homework page and they're still a little iffy on it, not sure of how to do it, then I still expect them to do even more homework. As I said, I want them to be responsible. I want them to self-reflect and say, okay, I did all this homework and I still am not sure that I fully understand it. And so that's why I have uploaded all those tutorials and practice pages, and that's why I have down here reteaching pages for them to open up, and again, it's by topic. They can find the topic that we're talking about in math, and the first half gives them another explanation of what we did, and then the bottom half are just more problems that they can do to hopefully solidify their understanding. I have the answers for those as well in that uploaded section down here with reteach answers. So what I've tried to do is to provide enough resources for your student and for you to help your students understand math. And what I do, because I fully expect them to have their homework done at 100%, I do not collect their homework the next day. They can recycle it, they can throw it away, I don't care what they do with it, because I expect it to already be at 100% because I gave you all the answers. So what I do instead is in the morning, I have a quick quiz on their desk for them to complete for their self-start. And it is 3-4 questions long at most. And it's just questions similar to what they did the day before in class and on their homework. So then they do this in class, takes them 5 minutes or so, and they turn it in. And this I look throughout the day, shows me more of what they fully understand than if they were to turn in their homework. So I use this as my assessment, and I use it if there's students that didn't quite get it, then I can pull them back later in the day and help them with their misconceptions or give them a little one-on-one tutorial so that they more fully hopefully understand the topic. With all of my assignments, I grade from a 1 to a 4. And what that means is if they have a 1, that they show me that they don't understand it at all yet. That is wholly still weird to them. If they get a 2, it means that they kind of get it, they can kind of do it, but they're making mistakes and they're not quite understanding it yet. They need help. At a 3, they totally get it. They can do it by themselves. They get the correct answers and they understand it. This is where I want them to be. This is my goal, to have everyone at a 3. They understand it. They can do it. There is a 4 that I give away as well, and that means that they can do it above and beyond, that they not only understand it, but they could teach it, and they understand it. They can explain how they know it is the correct answer. So I want students at a 3. If they get a 4 on something, that means that they've got it like 110%. So I know at times in the past it's kind of been like a 2 is a C, a 3 is a B, and a 4 is an A. That is not how it's going to work. What I want it to be, a 3 is where you're at. That's your 80 to 100%. That's your 75, 100%. You've got it. Okay. A 4 is above and beyond that. So get that in your head. I want them at a 3. If they want to keep going for a 4, that's fine with me, but I'm not going to push them to get that 4. I also wanted to show you Google Classroom, and this is where we go for our language arts assignments. What I like about this is that students can do the quiz or the assignment or the assessment online, then they can turn it into me, and after that I can make comments and then send it back to them, and they can read my comments and hopefully fix things up and then turn it back into me. So this is an assignment that we did. This is our mid-unit assessment that we did last week. Students put responses in here, and then there's a turn-in button right there that they can turn it into me. I can then open it up and read it and respond and give them a score and send it back to them all online, which I like and the students like. So that's Google Classroom. I also wanted to talk about the way that I am grading. So with that last assignment, that mid-unit assessment, there were 5 questions. One of them was about getting the gist of a chapter. 3 of the questions were about citing evidence, and 1 of the questions was about showing evidence of how characters change. So in my grading, rather than giving 1 lump grade of mid-unit assessment, so many points out of 10, what I'm doing this year is called standards-based grading, and my grading will all be based on a standard. So I've taken that mid-unit assessment and I've divided it into the 3 different standards that I was assessing, and I gave your student a score for each standard. So what I like better about this is that instead of saying, okay, I didn't do very well on the mid-unit assessment, it gives you more of an idea of what you're not doing well on. So we can see that citing evidence, this student has got it. They're at that 3 and the 4. I want you to ignore that, the percentage, because like I said, the 3 out of 4 is where I want you to be. So this student gets how to cite evidence. All right. What they do not get very well is getting the gist of a chapter 4 and then showing evidence of how students change. You can see I have these codes here. It's missing or an incomplete. So they actually did not complete that last question. So this gives you more of an idea of how your student is doing rather than just oh, you didn't do very well in the mid-unit assessment. You can say, okay, let's work on getting the gist. And you can read things and help your child figure out what the gist is of what you read. And then you can also say, well, you've got to get back into Google Classroom and you've got to complete that last question because it is incomplete, and then I can give a grade for that. With these on PowerSchool as well, you have these view things, and if you click on one, then a note will pop up. So this assignment was in Google Classroom. You can fix your assignment and resubmit it if you'd like a higher score. So there's just little notes that I can give you that might explain a little bit more of how of what the assignment was about. Okay, and then this right here says that little code means that it's excluded. So what I did here and what I'll do is if it is not something leaked to a standard, so if it's like a parent permission slip, or if it's some quiz that doesn't really have any educational value, at least as far as what my standards are that I have to teach, then I'll put it in so that you know that it's been turned in, but it's not going to go against your child's grade. So that's what the excluded button means. For math, if you click on math, here's our quick quizzes that show up. You can see we've got a 2 out of 4 and a 1 out of 4. What you can do with those scores is you can, most of the time, if you have a 1 or a 2, then I pull your student back during study hall at the end of the day and I work with them individually. And then I give them a practice, an extra practice. And I allow them to do that extra practice. And then if they turn it in and they've got it correct, then they've shown me that their level of understanding has increased. And I will change those up to a 1 or a higher level of understanding. So if they've showed me that they can get it after a little mini teaching with me and doing a little more practice on the extra practice page, then I'll move it up to a 3. Or if they show me that they've totally got it now, then I'll move it up to a 4. So these grades are not solid. I can change them at any time. Our weekly math pages is I give them a front and back math page that's a little riddle or quiz or whatnot every Friday, and it's due the next Friday. Those I don't count against them, so they're excluded from the grades, but I like them because they're good reviews, and so that's basically the only homework that they have to turn in. And so you can see that on PowerSchool as well. I hope that was beneficial to you. If you have any questions, I kind of tried to rush through it and not spend too much of your time. But if you have other questions or concerns for me, please feel free to email me or come in and talk to me and let me know what I can be doing better to help your child. Thank you.